now, but
well, one of them's me.
Just to go through with this for people as they're tuning in. Welcome to the first round of our first ever podium winner Palooza, kind of a little pet project that we started.
And Palooza, Teak. How did you come up with the word Palooza?
I like my alliteration. So
yeah. I don't even know what Palooza means. I'm going to Google it right now.
We're going to have a good time with it. Now, basically, again, for people who've been keeping track with us on social media, we took all the place winners. We had a little play-in tournament between those who finished sixth to get the bracket down to 16 people. And what Steve and I are going to do every week is we're going to run through these 16-person brackets. I'll share my screen here real quick.
A wild, crazy, extravagant party. That's what Palooza means. Nice.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like that's what this is going to be. So perfect. All right. So I'm going to get the brackets up here, but this is what the 106 bracket looks like. We'll keep the screen on the brackets most of the time. The only time we'll flip back to Steve and I talking really, or I'll see how much I can navigate here as I get the flow of this. We'll flip back when Steve and I both choose an opposite person, and our tiebreaker tonight. So our intern AJ, he's been fighting the good fight on the social media front. He's unable to make it tonight, so he can't be our tiebreaker. Our tiebreaker tonight is going to be a little vintage choice here, Steve. We're going to go with the coin.
All right. Sounds good.
Go with the coin on this one.
Now, hold on, T. You've been doing we have been doing fan voting, right? But you've been do you have those numbers, or is that?
So, yeah. So since we we're doing 106 through 145 this week and 52 through heavyweight next week, we'll be doing, we're going to keep the fan voting open until next Thursday, I would say. Gotcha. So, right. Yeah, we're going to have a couple weeks of fan voting. Right now, I might pull that up and we'll talk about where the fans are as opposed to what we've been doing. But we've had over 225 people vote on that. And also for those of you tuning in on YouTube, if you haven't seen that Google form, we do have the link in the description, so you can go check that out as well. Remember, for those of you watching, if you want to join in on the conversation, that's kind of what we want to get out of this. I think you do have to subscribe if you want to hop in on the conversation. Otherwise, I don't know, Steve, I guess, let's get started at 106 here. Also, I'll be filling out, I have a master bracket on paper. If I try to update the bracket over on the computer here, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. So yeah, I think with that being said, I might not screen share, but all right. Yeah, let's go back to us. And Steve, you can see comments and everything, correct?
Oh, yeah, I was on my brackets. Let me go back. Yeah, I got comments, so we're good.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, let me know if anyone has anything to say.
I was looking some stuff up because I wrote notes down on my paper brackets, and some of it I can't read.
I guess starting off at 106 pounds, I have a 6-page Google Doc right now.
All right.
Starting off at 106 pounds, we got our 1 seed Jake Fitzpatrick of Aquinas taking on 16 seed Christopher Anderson of Sun Prairie. Anderson had one of the more dominant playing performances in terms of, what he got percentage wise for fan voting. But basically what I got for this results wise, Steve, is I used a lot of, I always forget the name of it, but I try to look at one common opponent. And I think if I had to guess, without looking at anyone, I'd say Fitzpatrick, but just for a little bit of evidence, Fitzpatrick did beat Landon Freeman 4-0 at the Cheesehead. Freeman beat Anderson 9-4 at sectionals. So I think that's a pretty solid result to base it off of. Plus, I've seen Fitzpatrick wrestle plenty of times. I know what he's bringing to the table. I went with Jake Fitzpatrick here.
Yeah, he's a beast. But I tell you what, T, Anderson is a tough out because Anderson did beat the guy who took third. Oh shoot, I don't know I'm trying to watch the comments, so I can't remember. He beat T.
The guy who took third in what division?
Division 1. The Arrowhead kid.
Oh, McDowell.
Yeah, he beat McDowell and then had injury default out for 6. So that's a tough out for the first round. But Fitzpatrick's a beast, man. We watched him at Bi-State.
All right. So if we both got Fitzpatrick, that's our first result, Steve. Only 405 matches to go now.
Rock on, man.
405 matches. Don't know. Hey, Jason Rodriguez is on.
Yeah,
so I believe that's Chase Rodriguez's father.
Oh, nice.
Next matchup up here. I mean, right. I knew we were in for the long haul, Steve. Like it was going to be a barn burner with all of these. When this next matchup here, we have a Colin McDowell of Arrowhead and Amron Nutter, sorry, of Fenimore. All the 8-9 matchups are people who finished third place at state. So McDowell finished third in D1, Nutter finished third in Division 3. And I mean, I've seen both these guys wrestle, both very solid. The only common opponent, have to go back to Jake Fitzpatrick of Aquinas. Fitzpatrick did beat McDowell 10-4, and then he beat Nutter 7-2, and then 2-1 at state. I think that one might have went to sudden victory as well. The thing is, though, McDowell does have the best overall win with the win over Liam Neitzel at state. That's kind of how I viewed it. I think we're splitting hairs here if we're talking about hypothetical matches, but I went with McDowell in this one.
Great match. We have our first coin flip then, Teague. I thought you were going to go Nutter. I'm predicting Nutter for the same reason you said. He had a 2-1 loss to Fitzpatrick, and I think Fitzpatrick is a beast. So I'm going Nutter.
All right. So we're going to flip the coin here, and then I'm going to kind of talk about this hypothetical world that we're having this tournament in. But
we do have a vote from Jason, though, on our comments, and he said Colin.
He'd go with McDowell on that one.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the official tiebreaker or not, but
we got Jason. We appreciate the input on this one. Oh wait. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're the donkey. So it'd go with you. It'd go with
so
your
yeah.
pick.
Happy donkey. Okay. Yeah. So
comes down to
heads. It goes with my decision. Tails. It goes with yours.
Yep.
And I mean, this would just be a fun match to watch. I would say, honestly, Nutter might have had the best resume on the year, but that win over Neitzel was just huge in my eyes. That third place match. Okay, so let me. Also, I've only been thinking about how good the quarterfinals are going to be. Even the backside on the consolation is going to be crazy. Okay, next thing we have up here, we got Roan Carey of Mineral Point, the 5 seed. He's taking on Ethan Aird of Darlington Blackhawk, the 12 seed. I think Carey at the 5. Yeah, he was the runner up in Division 3 at 106. Aird finished 4th in Division 2. And then, I mean, the one result, Steve, for me, Carey beat Aird 9-0 at the SWC Swall Clash.
At
and also, fun fact. Yeah. Yep. And he also, I think he pinned, it has to be Aird's brother in a duel. I forgot his brother's name, but yeah, there was another Aird. But
agreed.
I'm going with Carey on this one.
I second that.
Okay, so last part of the top half of the bracket for 106, we got Landon Freeman of Wisconsin Rapids and Logan Mueller of Brilliant. Mueller had a great run to the finals in Division 2. Ended up being the runner up there at 106. Landon Freeman of Rapids, guy just went on a tear in the postseason. I got a chance to watch him wrestle at the Cutler Classic too. And he just really improved over the course of the year. Ended up finishing, I think it'd make him 5th if he's the 13 seed. Yeah, in Division 1. But I think the one thing that stuck out to me, Steve, Freeman did pin Kale Zielinski. And Zielinski beat Mueller in ultimate tiebreaker in a meet earlier in the year. But I got a little intel that so Zielinski took down Freeman first at the match they wrestled at state. Then Freeman got an escape, took him down, ended up pinning him. I think it was from like a scramble position. I mean, you got to get context when you're looking at pins, but ultimately I decided to go with Freeman in a 4-13 matchup where, again, you might be splitting hairs to figure out who wins.
Yeah. The only thing I had on that one is Freeman did beat Anderson, who I just talked about earlier from Sun Prairie. And I think Anderson's really, really tough. So I'm going to go with Freeman as well from Rapids.
Okay. So we got Freeman here. So Carey versus Freeman the next round, a little Division 1 versus Division 3 action. bottom side of the bracket, we got Charlie Might of Dodgeville, Wyatt Unser of Glenwood City. Might, obviously, and Steve, we got a chance to watch Might wrestle at Bi-State. Tim Spray, tough matches. You are telling us, man, that's we're 4 matches in. I'm already sweating it out a little bit.
Wish Tim was picking these.
You know what, Steve? I'm sure there's people who want to fill out these brackets. Maybe I'll get a PDF that people can print out, put it on our page or something. Got Charlie Might of Dodgeville, 1 state in Division 2, and Wyatt Unser of Glenwood City, placed 5th in Division 3. And we really saw Might improve over the course of the year. I think the common matchup I had here, Unser had a well-contested match against Little Dolphin and also Casey as well, Braden Casey from Menomonie. And just like I said in my notes, I have Mike got hot at the end of the year, and he got grudge wins over Ethan Aird, and he got great wins over Miguelski and also Mueller of Brilliant. And just on that logic, I'm saying I think this is in a universe, Steve, where like this tournament takes place a week after individual state. I don't know like what happens with team state, but this is our universe and we're living in it. So I'm thinking it's a week after individual state. They set the brackets, and like everyone's healthy too. That's also the world I'd want this to be in. Agreed. So I think if Mike's riding off the momentum that I saw him have at the end of the year, I think he gets a pretty good win over Wyatt Unser.
Same thing. It might be a bi-state bias because we got to see him wrestle at a very tough tournament. But I'm going with Might as well.
All right, this next one here, a couple of young guns. We got Drew Dolphin of Kenosha Christian Life, the 11 seed, placed 4th at state, and Jacob Herm of Nina. Dolphin's only loss coming into state was an injury default, I believe. Picked up a couple of losses there, but still had a great year. Herm, I mean, we talked about him a lot over the course of the year, Steve. He lost to Ben Bast and Braden Casey, but Bast was at 113. He also beat Bast too at On the Water and has a really quality win over Liam Neitzel. And I don't know, just after watching Herm, he's a really scary wrestler, but also I think his resume is just a little more impressive than Dolphins as well, just basing off this year. So I'm taking Jacob Herm, who is a very, very strong 6 seed.
Yeah, I wrote in this one, just tough match. I did have a big win for Dolphin. Was he beat Freeman 6-4 from Rapids. That was a tough win, but I'm going to go with Herm as well.
Okay, I'm going to close out of some tabs here for a second. All right, 13 views. Glad people are picking up on this. Maybe we'll go back to the bracket here once we get done with 106 pounds. But next one up here, we have Wyatt Miguelski of New London and Liam Neitzel of Hudson. Miguelski finished 3rd in D2. Neitzel finished 4th in Division 1. That second loss was really surprising to me. But I mean, just the base result here, Steve. Miguelski lost to Might at state, and Might, who was a different wrestler at Bi-State, I would say. He got better as the year went along.
Agreed.
Might did get teched by Neitzel. And I think just based off that, I think that's a result I can be confident giving the edge to Neitzel here.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. Nothing to add. I had the same notes you did.
Beautiful. And then last one, we have Braden Casey of Menomonie, the 2 seed state champ in Division 1, and Gunnar Katzenmeyer of Evansville. This one, Katzenmeyer lost to Micah Beckett from De Pere, who lost to Casey. But then there's other losses in there by Katzenmeyer where I think if Casey wrestled those guys, he wouldn't lose to them. And just seeing Casey wrestle at the end of the year, I'm giving it to Casey.
Yeah, Katzenmeyer is an aggressive senior, strong senior, but I'm going with Casey as well.
All right, so let's just look at 106 here before we move on. Okay, got to go to Zoom, share screen. I'd say for the first go around, Steve, this is running, somewhat smoothly. No, it's running very smooth. Be confident.
That's
confident,
right.
Teague. So basically running through what we have for the quarterfinals. Now, like I said, I'll fill this out, put out a better looking bracket later on, probably next week at some point. But we'll have Jake Fitzpatrick versus Colin McDowell, Rowan Carey, the 5 seed versus Landon Freeman, the 13 seed, Charlie Might versus Jacob Herm, and Liam Neitzel versus Braden Casey, which would be in this hypothetical season. That'd be, I think, round 3 between these two wrestlers. So that's what we have for 106. Let's move on to 113 here. And we'll take a quick look at the bracket. We'll get into the first match. Give the folks at home a chance to look at the bracket. But starting off at the top here, we have 1 seed Reed Spurley, who, Steve, we got a chance to watch him wrestle at Bi-State and at State as well, taking on Aiden Slamma of Milton, who I think you got to see Slamma wrestle, what, like 3 or 4 times, Steve?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times, sectionals, regionals, everything. Dual, conference, I forgot about that, yep.
And that Slamma had a really impressive campaign this year. Let me hop to my notes. I mean, Spurley just an undefeated season with his quality of wins. I just said it speaks for itself. I'm going with the 1 seed Reed Spurley here.
Yeah, what do we determine at Bi-State? Don't take down against Reed Spurley, right? I mean, he rides like a like a champion bullfighter or whatever, bull rider, whatever. I mean, and yeah, he's tough.
I think I know 2 wrestlers who scored points on him on bottom.
Nice.
And then next one up, we have the 9 versus the 8, Noah Tonzer versus Parker Hines. Tonzer of Slinger taking on Hines of Lodi. I mean, again, another tough when we're talking people who finished 3rd at State. A, they had a good end of the year. B, they're just solid wrestlers in general. The only result I can really go off of here, Steve, was Hines lost to Ben Bast 4-1, and Tonzer beat Bast 3-2. I believe that was at State. I'm giving the edge to the man who was the first state champion from Slinger, Noah Tonzer.
Yeah, for the Owls. That was my nod. I thought it would be a tough match, but Tonzer does have that state championship as a junior. I know it's a year ago or a year previous, but that's huge.
Next match up here, we have Colton Hush of Baldwin Woodville, runner up in Division II, taking on Colton Weiler of Auburndale, who finished 4th in Division III. The note I had on this one, I think if you look at Hush's losses on track, I'd say it's a higher quality of losses. And I think it's an interesting thing to say, but I think it's a valid point to make as well. And he also literally beat a kid who was the Minnesota Christmas tournament champion. And Hush has just always impressed me. I would go with Hush here.
Agreed. And I will say this about Weiler, looking at his results, he keeps matches extremely close, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you do that, you always have the ability to pull out a win against a tough wrestler. I will say that, but I'm going with Hush.
Oh, Jason Rodriguez saying hi. What up? Or saying Chase says hi. What's up, Chase? And hey, looks like he's getting healthy too. So that'll be awesome. We're talking about guys being healthy, and Chase is a guy that when he's healthy, not a lot of people want to wrestle him. Next match up at 113. So we got Hush moving on there, correct? Okay. Yes, this next one, I mean, I kind of liked these for note-taking purposes, Steve, but we have Wyatt Skeba of Hortonville and Ethan Eggert of Pulaski. Skeba, runner-up in Division I. Eggert, if he's the 13, he finished 5th in Division I, but Skeba beat him twice. I know it was a little closer the second time around, but I feel confident just picking Skeba here.
Agreed. Yep. Common or head to head.
Okay. Next one up, the freshman phenom from Kenosha St. Joseph, Koji Campbell.
Don't blink or you'll miss him.
Yeah. Blink and miss it wrestler, just in terms of how quick his matches are. Taking on Ian Krapp of Fenimore. We'll bringing up a lot of Fenimore this go around, just given how strong they are at the lightweights. But I mean, common result here. I mean, if you've seen Campbell wrestle, you're going to pick him against a lot of wrestlers, but common opponent, they have Ian Radens. Radens beat Krapp 9-0. I think that was on the backside. And then Campbell and Radens were actually tied when he pinned him, Steve. But still, I think that's a big enough swing for me where I would take Campbell here.
Yep, same thing.
Next one up, an interesting 11 versus 6 matchup, I would say. We have Carter Schultz of Rice Lake, finished 4th in Division II, and Elliot Beebe of Iowa Grant Highland, who actually just seeding wise ended up being the runner up. So could potentially see Beebe versus Campbell here, but I guess to give my thoughts thoughts on it first. You look at their resumes. Hey, I'm back.
Hey, that's all right. I don't know if you froze or I froze, but what's yeah.
I froze definitely.
You froze. Okay.
Are we still on live? What time did I cut off at?
I have no idea. It says, well, the screen, I don't know what's going on, buddy.
No, I think we're still good.
I think we're still good. Either Jason or Tim, if you guys are on, if you want to tell us, like, you can see us.
Where did you last hear me, Steve?
I don't remember, because I froze literally. I didn't know what to do when you froze. So I froze hypothetically. You actually
you metaphorically froze.
Yeah,
okay. Did you hear my like Schultz versus Biba
spiel? You just started talking about Schultz and Biba. Yes.
Okay. So I said a couple of guys cut from the same cloth in terms of their resume. Like the guys that they lost to are kind of a cut above them. I like Schultz's resume better in that he was a little more consistent year round, but I think this would be one of the first round matches that I'd be looking forward to the most. But I'd take Carter Schultz of Rice Lake here.
Yeah, me too. And then I will say this, Jason Rodriguez, sorry, he does agree with our Campbell pick, so he likes that one.
So I like to hear you went with Schultz too.
Agree. Yep.
Okay, so that's an 11 seed moving on there. Okay, next thing up, we have Ian Radens of Glenwood City taking on Ben Bast of West Bend West. So Radens, if he's the 7th seed, he finished 3rd in Division 3. Bast finishing 4th in Division 1. I mean, there was like 4 horsemen at 113 in Division 1, Steve. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
My notes in this one, they both had a similar record, but Bast just had a tougher strength of schedule, and I think he had tougher wins throughout the year as well. And just seeing the guy, he's a gamer, and I'd give it to Bast.
Yeah, tough one. I really wanted to go with my boy Ian, but I got to go with Bast as well. Same thing, common, bigger wins overall throughout the season.
And then the last one here, we have Preston Spray, a state champ at Division 1 from Wisconsin Rapids, taking on Lane Anderson of Amory. And again, I just think on paper, or from what I've watched, I'd say Spray straight up. But if we're using some results, the Cheesehead results speak for themselves. Spray, he still lost to Gylan Sims from, is it Joliet? But the loss the differential wasn't as big. And then he also beat Salas from Simley, I believe, who did beat Lane Anderson. And Spray just got hot at the end of the year, which I think going into the later rounds is something that I'm going to probably take into account when we're talking about this stuff. So I'm going with the 2 seed.
Didn't Spray have his hair kind of very coolly braided at state? That's what I kind of remember. Obviously the great wrestling as well, but
he did have the braids.
That was pretty sweet. And did I see on social media that he's going to Parkside as well? I saw he's going to wrestle somewhere. I get them all mixed up. A lot of guys going to Parkside this year.
Well, we'll see in 30 seconds here. We got a 30-second delay, but Tim Spray will be able to answer that for us.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he's on.
So once he gets a comment, we'll comment on that.
Yeah,
but that's what we got for 113. Let me share the screen here on the bracket real quick. So we're gonna have Reed Spurley versus Noah Tonzer. I mean, before we get into this, Steve, when I was looking at 113 before we started the matches, I wanted to say that 113, there's 7 guys who I could see placing for sure. And it was all going to depend on how the bracket shook out. So now that we're in the quarters, it's going to be fireworks from here on out for sure. But we got Reed Spurley versus Noah Tonzer, a couple of state champs there. Colton Hush versus Wyatt Skeba, a couple of state finalists. Koji Campbell versus Carter Schultz. And Ben Bast versus Preston Spray. Again, another couple of state champions. So
right.
a lot of state championship pedigree here at 113 pounds. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that put to the test in the next round.
Oh, T, I was I couldn't remember, and I wasn't going to pull freestyle on this, but I thought Radens, I was going back to it and I wrote a note down. I'm like, what the heck? I wrote that he beat 132 He was a runner-up in the Dells, and I wish I'd remember who he beat, but he had a big win. I shouldn't even brought it up now because I can't remember who it was, but it was one reason why I know it's freestyle. But Radens, I was like, oh man, that's why I really want to go with him over Bast.
Would have brought it up to the coin.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I already went. But like I said, it's not freestyle. We're talking folk style. But I'd have to go back and while you mess around a little bit, I'm gonna go back and find it. He had
sounds good. I'm good at messing around, so we're good. Okay, so Tim Spray also. So Preston is going to the University of Missouri. We did share that post too. So that's got a lot of things going through this little brain right now.
Well, Missouri, Parkside, they got the same colors, right?
Exactly. Yeah. What? No, not even that. Why?
I'm joking. I'm totally joking. All right. That was me trying to be funny, and it didn't work at all.
I'm gonna go through the first match and leave the bracket up here, but we got Dawson Johnson of Cumberland and Cole Fitzpatrick of Lacrosse Wrestling. Johnson state champ in Division III. Fitzpatrick finished 6th, was the play-in winner to make it here. But just a common result here. Fitzpatrick lost 5-0 to Mason Carpenter of Oshkosh Lords earlier in the year, and Johnson was beating Carpenter 9-0 when he pinned him in the finals. So I would go with the 1 seed Johnson there.
Yep, agreed.
All right, so I'm gonna write Johnson down. Chance Sudduth versus Traden Ackman, another good 8-9 matchup here, which they all are. Let's be real, but this one was interesting to me because Ackman did beat Sudduth 4-1 at Bi-State. I feel like Sudduth really hit his peak starting at the Cheesehead when he won it and just went on a tear near the end of the year, but you look at Ackman's losses and really Luke Dukes from Neilsville is just kind of his kryptonite. Like that's truly what it was. And I still think if they wrestled at the end of the year, Ackman had really good results, even with Sudduth's momentum. I'd still give the edge to Ackman.
You said over Sudduth. Teague, I have that Sudduth beat Ackman at Bi-State. Is that not?
I thought no, because Ackman made the finals.
Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
I'm pretty sure Ackman beat. Now you have me questioning myself, but it was pretty sure it was Ackman over Sudduth.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But what would your pick have been?
Well, if that was the case, I was actually going to go with Ackman, but I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to go with Sudduth because I thought he beat him head to head.
Oh yeah, no. Ackman got the head. Gonna verify it quick here.
All right, we got to trust but verify, right?
But
that's the
Ackman did win 4-1
over Sudduth.
Yeah,
maybe I drew my arrow in the wrong spot, so I'm gonna go with Ackman.
All right, well, got Ackman.
See, I'm looking for that in the Dells.
We don't have the benefit of the podcast where we can't do some podcast editing magic.
Oh, we don't need to edit.
That's the beauty of live. That's showbiz, baby.
They need to see us warts and all.
The 5 seed Lucas Peters of Kaukauna, runner up in Division I, taking on Hudson Halter of Waterford, who finished 4th in Division I. And Peters did better against common opponents, but they did have a good match at state. I think that one might have went to ultimate tiebreaker. I know Peters won by 1 or 2. I didn't write the score down, but I'd still give the edge to Peters. I mean, it's hard to say no to the dude who got a pin, like the biggest pin ever in the second round of team state over Chance Sudduth. So I'm taking Peters over Halter.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay. Luke Dukes and Andrew Martin. Dukes, who was the runner-up in Division II. Martin, who placed 5th in Division I. 120 was deep in Division I here, but this is a 4-13 matchup that I'd have circled if this were a thing. They both have really good wins on the year. I think the thing that stuck out to me, and I know it would count more if it were a win, but Dukes came so close to beating Heiser, and little Heiser, man, little Danny Heiser is a tank, and Dukes gave him all he could handle. It took a third period flurry, but I think that match just shows how good Dukes is. And we say a lot of good things about Ackman, and Dukes beat him 3 or 4 times. And I'd give the edge to Dukes here. And I think it'd be a good match.
Yeah, agreed. It'd be a real tough one. I went back and forth on this one, but eventually I went with Dukes.
All right, next one up, we have 3-seed Shane Corrigan of De Pere, state champ in D1, taking on Elias Glinski of Crandon, who plays 5th in Division 3. And hey, love the Crandon representation, got family up in Crandon, but bless Elias Glinski's soul, but no one stopping Shane Corrigan.
Yeah, the Crandon rush runs, right? I think the biggest compliment Shane Corrigan got was when we had Jeff Matchek on the episode, talking about state championship coaches. And he just said, man, we threw everything at Shane Corrigan we could. And he just simply was not going to be denied this year. So that was pretty impressive words from the Kaukauna coach. So I'm going with Shane.
That's what we like to hear. Tom and Kelly message retracted. Oh, okay. All right, next one up. So Alexander Nitz of Stanley Boyd, Mason Carpenter of Lords. They both placed in Division 3. Carpenter was the runner-up. Nitz placed 4th. Stanley Boyd, couple of wrestlers at state. They had a good showing there, but Carpenter beat Nitz 5-2 at state. And while I didn't see the match specifically, I think Carpenter's had a good year in general. I would stick with Carpenter winning part 2 there.
Yeah, agreed. We talked about Carpenter all year long. And we'd keep talking about him. We're going to keep talking about him as he advances into the quarters.
All right. So got the 6-seed Carpenter. All right. Next one up, we have Brecken Minch of Fenimore, Easton Warachek of Luxembourg, Casco. Warachek, who he placed 4th in Division 2 and state champ the year before. And then Minch placed 3rd in Division 3. The notes that I had on this one, I think the thing that stuck out to me was Warachek's win over Lucas Sullivan of Mineral Point at Bi-State, and especially because it was at 126. He's probably smaller for that weight class. Again, you're splitting hairs here with really good wrestlers, but I think a win like that, and he's just a good wrestler. I'm going with Easton Warachek here.
Yeah, and he also took 2nd at Freestyle State and had some big wins is there as well.
All right, so we got Warachek. Yeah, I didn't look at freestyle and Greco State. So let me know if there's a result that caught your eye when we go through this stuff.
Yeah, I will.
You're still trying to find right?
No, I have it up here now. It's the thing, right? I mean, well, here's an example. The Badger recruit at 132 pounds, Nicola, took 6th at right. I mean, he injured and felt it out, right? But he can't go off those results, or we'd be crazy at 132 pounds.
We'd be, very true. Very true. Yeah. And then Edwards versus Heiser. So Jonah Edwards of East Troy placed 5th in Division 2. Danny Heiser of Evansville, like we talked about earlier, state champion. And I think they didn't wrestle each other at state, but you look at common opponents, and I just think the results speak for themselves there. And I've Danny Heiser moving on.
Yeah, he was my D2 wrestler of the year, so I got to go with him in round 1.
I think that sets up, was that a semis rematch that we see there at 120? All right, I'm going to share the screen real quick. So 120-pound quarterfinals, you got Dawson Johnson of Cumberland, Trayton Ackman of Spencer Columbus Catholic, Lucas Peters of Kaukauna, Luke Dukes of Neilsville Greenwood Loyal, Shane Corrigan of De Pere, Mason Carpenter of Lords, and Easton Warachek of Luxembourg Casco, and Danny Heiser of Evansville, which brings us to 126 pounds. Hey, good thing we just did 7 weight classes tonight, Steve. I think that decision's going to work itself out there.
Balin Levine Short says, we got a disagreement at our previous ones, and Brecken from Fenimore beats Easton from Luxembourg Casco all day long. So feel free to add those comments.
Oh yeah, no, I want to Balin. I do want to hear like the logic on that, like whether it be results or like if you've seen them wrestle before. That's what we're doing this for. We don't want this to just be the Teague and Steve show. So no, let's get your thoughts on why you think Brecken would take that one.
Yeah, talk some smack. Keep it clean, but talk some smack. You're absolutely right. 132. I know we're not there yet. But we weren't talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, in this world, Rivera's at 26 for this tournament.
What did I say? 32?
Well, he wrestled 32 at Freestyle State.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
But he'll be at 26. Oh, we have the bracket on screen share right now.
I was looking at results and I saw 132 and I just got a little screwed up there. You're absolutely right. We were just saying that when he wrestled 32 when he wrestled that Freestyle State, he actually took 6, but he, injured or faulted out. So that's why we were saying we weren't necessarily taking those results when we make this bracket here today.
For Freestyle Greco does have to be a little bit of a grain of salt for sure. Okay, 126 pounds. We'll talk through the first matchup, then I'll put the screen back on us. But Nicola Rivera of Stoughton versus Colin Mckittrick of Royal Rivera, state champ in D1 this year, and Badger recruit, as he announced at state. Mckittrick won her play and got pretty good support there from the Royal crowd. But I didn't put anything here. I'm just saying that Nicola Rivera is moving on to the next round.
Agreed.
Yep. All right. So
not a lot of talk on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll have more Rivera talk as this one. Okay, here we are. Another 8-9 matchup here. And let's see. Oh, Balin. Okay, so Balin is a student at Fenimore, which means he's going to be pumped up for this next one, as I was when I went through it. We got Brett Birchman of Fenimore and Austin Blanchard of Campbellsport, Steve. Austin Blanchard, I believe he also goes by the Haitian Sensation. And Birchman, he's just had a great career in general through his 3 years so far. Blanchard came into state undefeated, had a tough loss against Ian DeCellier of Kiel, wrestled his way back to third. They had the same finish. I would say Birchman had a slightly tougher bracket, which is tough to say, but I think what puts Birchman ahead of Blanchard over me would be the win that Birchman had over Caleb Mantle of Waiawega, who we know is a very tough wrestler. And I think Caleb Mantle finishing 4th speaks to how tough this 126-pound bracket was in Division III. But I got to give the edge to Birchman, and I wouldn't want to see Blanchard on the backside of the bracket. Well, let's see what your pick is, Steve.
You nailed all my notes. I was really impressed with that win over Mantle, because I think obviously, other than Rivera, Mantle's a kid that if this bracket really did happen, he's a guy that could win it, right? And if Birchman beat him, I'm going with him as well, and we're going to make Balin happy.
All right, so we got Birchman moving on, and that's man. I want to make this tournament a real thing someday.
Yeah, me too. Make it happen.
Next matchup up here, we got a Division I battle. We got a Matt Haldeman, runner up at 126 in D1, taking on Tyson Peach of Kimberly, who finished 4th. So at the Duffy, Steve, one of our favorite tournament names, Peach had a great tournament at state. But Haldeman also did, of course, considering he made it to the finals. Just given the 3-2 result here, I'm really excited to see the future for both of these two wrestlers, and I'd give the edge to Haldeman in a hypothetical rematch.
Well, pull out that coin, because I'm going with Peach, and I think it's going to be a battle. So the only common opponent that I found was that they were both tech followed by Nicola.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And I think I went with Peach because this has nothing to do with it, right? But he was tech followed in a greater amount of time. So I'm going with Peach.
All right, so let's go by the coin here. Heads is my choice. Tails is all right. Tyson Peach, Kimberly, moving on.
By the sad donkey.
Okay, next one up, we have a Quentin Wolbert of Oconomowoc versus Ian DeCellier of Kiel. And I know Wolbert, who placed 5th in Division I. DeCellier had a great run to the finals as the runner up there in Division II. Wolbert did beat DeCellier 10-7 at Battle on the Bay, which I know was earlier in the year. And again, DeCellier, it seemed like he peaked at state, but I still think Wolbert's just a cut above. I know I don't think state was his best showing. I think in this match, Wolbert still wins it.
Agreed, for the same reasoning.
All right, next one up, bottom side of the bracket at 126. We got Chase Beckett of Portage and Mitch Anderson of Clear Lake. Anderson finished 5th in D3. Beckett was the D2 champion. And I wanted to say in this one, Anderson had a really good year, and a lot of his losses were close. But you look at Chase Beckett's resume, and he just kind of ran roughshod over the state. I took Beckett in this one.
Yeah, Beckett, same reasoning. And I got to give a shout out to Chase's dad. He actually is getting I can't remember the head coach's name, but he stepped down, and Chase's dad and another guy are going to be co-head coaches, new coaches for Portage.
Hey, it's good. It's good news to know on there. Next thing up, we have Derek Jernitz of Neilsville Greenwood Loyal taking on Lucas Sullivan of Mineral Point. And again, guys who it was hard to find common opponents, so you just try to base the looks off of the resume. And I'd say I'm more impressed with Sullivan's resume. They both lost to Sonentag. I think it was 8-0 for Jernitz and 8-2 for Sullivan. But again, this would be a heck of a matchup here between the 6th seed and the 11th seed. And I'd give the edge to Sullivan.
Yeah, I'd give the edge to Sullivan as well. And Mineral Point, Teague, I think when you and I were doing the commentating for state, Mineral Point had one of the best quarterfinal rounds that I've ever seen a team have, and that carried over, obviously somewhat into the semifinals. But they really came, put their best on at the right time, and so I'm going to go with the Mineral Point wrestler.
All right, Sullivan. Next one up. I mean, a dynamite 7-10 matchup here. We got a 7 seed Caleb Mantle of Wyawega Fremont and 10 seed Brian Winans of Gakona. Winans finished 4th. Mantle finished. Mantle finished 4th in D3. Winans finished 3rd in D1. And man, Winans had one heck of an ending to his year. The only common opponent that I really saw was Mantle lost to Brett Birchman by 1, who lost to Winans in sudden victory at Cheesehead, which doesn't really tell us much, Steve.
Nope.
But seeing both of them wrestle a little bit, I think we'd see fireworks in this match. And I think it would probably have the potential to be high scoring. I took Winans by a hair.
Nice. Get out your flipper, man. I would really like to see it. I was hoping I saw this one, and I thought, because of proximity with Gakona and Wyawega Freeman, I'm like, man, they wrestled at some point, and they did not. So I'm going with Mantle for this reasoning, right? Not necessarily common opponents, but I think Chase Beckett is a stud, right? I mean, I think he's a fantastic wrestler. But he lost 1-0 to Mantle. Lost 1-0 to Sonentag. Sonentag beat Beckett. I just had a kind of like a circular logic there, and I just think if you're losing to Sonentag only 1-0. It's you could have knocked him off, right?
You've got things figured. Yeah.
So I went with Mantle on this one.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Caleb Mantle moving on. Brian Winans, not someone I'd want to see on the consolation side.
No way, right? And Jason, Tim, or Balin, or Tom and Kelly, if you guys are out there, definitely let us know what you think, right? I mean, obviously, when we get those split picks, Teague and I disagree, so we'd love to hear what you guys say.
And Balin did let us know. I think we're kind of on the same boat here. Mineral Point, he said, kind of shocked him this year with all those lighter weights, and it's kind of what Curtis Fiedler does, though. It gets his guys ready for the end of the year, and I think, I mean, their lighter weights definitely were the class of the team this year.
Hopefully I'm not giving away Mineral Point and Curtis Fiedler secrets, but what I watched them do as a team at Bi-State is they got ready at Bi-State and they were preparing like it was state, right? Bi-State is set up with different rounds. And I think I was talking to Curtis and he said, man, some of our guys' goals at Bi-State is to make it to day 2, right? And to make it into this round and make it into the next round. And you got to Bi-State's all about survival. And I thought that,
even as announcers.
Yes, but I was so impressed with Bi-State. I thought it had so much of the feel of state, and I know why Curtis brings his teams there, why teams bring their why coaches bring their teams there in general. But I saw them prepare at Bi-State like it was individual state, right? An individual state, you're trying to, all right, I'm trying to get to Friday. I'm trying to get to Friday night. And they anyway, maybe that was preparation that helped them get ready for the Cole Center.
Oh, I think just talking to him, the guy, like, a lot of it is a mental game for him. And he seems to nail that with his team. Tim Spray talking about Brian Winans' kid seems to be a gamer. He's someone who he just looks like he's angry when he's on the mat for sure.
So if Tim was the tiebreaker, he'd be moving on.
It would have been. But maybe we'll start doing that. I mean, I know there's a 30-second delay, but maybe we can find a way to work that.
We'll have to figure it out for the future.
Last match here, Austin Defoe of Ashland. Congratulations. He did place 5th in Division II, but he's taking on Braden Sonnentag of Cadott, who's coming fresh off his 3rd state title. I'm going to give that to Sonnentag, Steve. I'm guessing we don't need to get the coin out here.
I would never want to meet Sonnentag in a dark alley.
Okay. Although Austin Defoe and his parents did start the 100 win club for us.
Absolutely.
So moving on to, okay, real quick, we'll look at the quarterfinals here. We're going to have Rivera versus Birchman, Tyson Peach of Kimberly versus Quentin Wolbert of Oconomowoc, Chase Beckett of Portage versus Lucas Sullivan of Mineral Point, Caleb Mantle of Wyega Fremont versus Braden Sonnentag of Cadott. Tom and Kelly Clark. Winans had a great throw to pin at Cheesehead over Birchman. I would take final score 13-1. Oh, 13-1 score. I going big with the score difference there. Tom and Kelly Clark. Is there a relation? Is it? I know there's a couple Clarks in Wisconsin, but given that they saw Winans wrestle, I want to say.
I thought there was a Tom Clark. Correct me if I'm wrong. Clark.
Would it be Grayson's dad?
Well, you're right. That could be. I was thinking, no, there was actually a Tom Clark, really good wrestler that wrestled for Beloit Turner, I want to say. Maybe that's the same. I don't know. Could be.
Oh, 13-11. Okay. Hey, real quick for everyone watching right now. 13-1's
a beating.
Thanks for it is Grayson's dad. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. If you got this post from Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, if you could share that post, please, and just get the word out there that we're doing this. We have a lot of matches left. We're only going through 56 matches tonight, and it's 406 matches total. So, yeah. Let's try to get more people hopping on this bandwagon here. But thanks for those of you tuning in. We got 32, 38. We got 3 brackets left. Good simple math there, T. That was great. Next thing up, 132 pounds. We'll keep a look at the bracket here while we go through the first. Steve, besides 145, I think this would be the most heralded 116 matchup here. It happened on account of Brody Hart injury defaulting out.
Mm-hmm.
But Tanner Gerber versus Brody Hart is a matchup that I would love to see as a 116. And I think Brody Hart, obviously state champ as a freshman, lost to Rhett Koenig this year in the semis, I believe. But man, I think it would be a good match. I would still give the edge to Grayson or to Tanner. Yeah. Sorry. And just going off the notes too, Hart did lose to Dolphin on the water, and Dolphin did lose to Gerber in the finals. But I'd say Gerber in what would be the best 116 match.
Yeah, nobody wants that round 1 match. But I have to go with Gerber.
I think Hart's a 16 seed that's would be the most likely to place in this tournament for sure.
Agreed.
All right, moving on to Tanner Anderson versus Jake Stoffel. We all know how good the 8-9 matchups are at this point. I can't speak highly enough of them. This one will be a good clash of styles, though. Stoffel really likes to put up points in bunches. Anderson is a man that really likes his 2-on-1, and once he gets you to the mat, it's not fun for you. So, I mean, just looking at the resumes, Anderson really did put on a clinic this year, and I mean, if Stoffel could maybe get out and build a lead, he could do that, but it's hard to put up points on Anderson. And I'd give the edge to Tanner Anderson and what would be probably a 1 or 2 point match.
Oh, you think so? Because he's going to keep it close. I went with Stoffel. So we're going to have to do a little coin flip action here.
Also, both of them finished 3rd.
Yep.
Coin flip, not calculator, Teague. Oh, wait.
Anderson is a 3-timer, I believe. 3-time qualifier, state qualifier. That's you.
Might have been the Cooley region bias coming into play there, but okay. Next up, we got Troy Dolphin of Kenosha Christian Life, runner up in D3, taking on Trapper Navsker of Mineral Point, who placed 4th in D3. Dolphin at state, he took Navsker down and he pinned him in the first period. And I think that's a result that I feel confident taking Dolphin in.
Yeah, agreed.
Match.
Yeah, that was a Dolphin's. He's a tough wrestler. Cool name. Going with them.
The Dolphins need to be on the all name team almost by default.
You know what? I was just looking at that when we did our podcast the other night, and I should add that. I'm going to.
Oh, Balin is wondering who was our pick at 113.
I think he means overall.
we just did the first round, Balin, but I know you're a Fenimore dude. I think our pick for 113 was there. We did end up going with Easton Warachek there, but yeah, that was our round 1 pick there. Okay, next up, Preston Cradaville of Holman and Owen Seffrood of Darlington Blackhawks, sophomore versus a freshman. Seffrood runner-up in Division II. Cradaville placed 5th in Division I. Cradaville has the potential to beat anyone in the state, I think.
Agreed.
He has a lot of good matchups, but I think consistency is a thing for him right now, and I think wrestling on his feet is probably the weakest part of his game, and I'd have a hard time seeing him take down Seffrood after what I saw with Seffrood at state. Yeah. And it's hard to pick a guy in the first round who his only losses were to Rhett Koenig on the year.
What Teague? What did we figure out 4 times throughout the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that our brains think the same, and that makes me feel good, but I have the same thing written down. This is a tough freshman sophomore combo that we're going to see for a long time. But I'm going to go with Seffrood from Darlington Blackhawk.
All right. Bottom side of the bracket here. Rhett Koenig, Prairie du Chien, just picked up his 3rd state title, taking on Mason Welsh of Iowa Grant Highland, placed 5th in Division III. I forgot to write it down. Steve, you might have it. I don't know if they've wrestled each other this year. Oh yeah. Koenig did beat Welsh this year, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's Rhett Koenig again, and that we had the result to back it up. I'm going with Rhett Koenig.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
What else do we say for now?
Yeah, I'm gonna concur.
We'll be talking more about Rhett Koenig later. This one's interesting though. We got Kellen Aubrey of Menomonie, the 6th seed, runner-up in Division II or runner-up in Division I, taking on Kyler Newberger of Beaver Dam Wayland Academy. And Aubrey's interesting because he truly did peak at state. He had a great state performance. And Jake Stoffel of Appleton North, who we talked about, he beat Newberger by quite a bit. And then Aubrey goes out and beats Stoffel in the semis. And that's a result. I mean, if we don't have a lot of results to go off of, I mean, that's a result I gotta live by. And I think Aubrey would continue his momentum from state in this match. But I think it would be a good match too.
Yeah, agreed. I have the exact same reasoning written down, so I'm going with Ari.
Man, this 132 bracket was just a barn burner to go through. Mason Will of St. Croix Falls and Chandler Curtis of Lodi. Will placed 3rd in Division III. Curtis placed 4th in Division II. Steve, all I have for notes on this one is what a high energy match.
Yep.
I think Curtis is more on the lines of high scoring. Will, I think, again, it's kind of a contrast of styles. So maybe results might be swayed by it looks like Will's losses were a little closer, but he had a couple of tough matches against Tanner Gerber, and kind of with your logic on Mantle and Sonante, it's hard to go against. And Chandler Curtis, if you had come to see this video, don't get me wrong, you're still my boy. Love my Lodi guys, but I give the edge to Mason Will on this.
Do you really? Okay. Well, get out your thing because your thingy there. I'm going to go with Chandler Curtis. He just we picked against him several times this year, and he came to make me crow. So don't pick against the Lodi boys, especially in that first round. So I'm going to go with Chandler Curtis.
All right, coming up here. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's me.
You got it. Chandler Curtis moves on.
Hey, and we have our first Matt Verbatim comment on here. So Teague, I'll let you take this one.
Matt Verbatim hopping on, joining the show. Ari is athletic, but Newberger wins 5-4. Oh, got a little. Yeah. I think that match ends up being way high scoring. I think 5-4 could be kind of a little low on that one.
I think Matt just came in from refereeing or umpiring something, and he's a little bit tired. He hasn't got his Gatorade. He's not fully, he's not hydrated yet.
The electrolytes, got to get the electrolytes back.
The electrolytes, right?
All right, we got next up. Oh, last one. Okay, so Bryce Crowley of Amro placed 5th in Division II, which again speaks to the depth of D2. at state this year at 132. He's taking on the Wyatt Du Chateau show, and I think we're going to be talking more about Wyatt Du Chateau, Steve, and I think it's going to be on the championship side.
I'm going to go with Du Chateau in his show, but I will say this, Bryce Crowley, one of the coolest social media responses I've ever had. I was reaching out to him, asking him questions about something, and I had the wrong Crowley down and all this different stuff. And Bryce looked at me, goes, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I figured out I had the wrong dude. And Bryce just responds with, no problem, man. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. It was just fantastic.
Which Crowley were you trying to reach out to again?
I have no idea. I was tired. I mean, I was dehydrated. There's all kinds of stuff. I could make all kinds of excuses. I just like Bryce's response. It was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen,
That was, I remember that because we're on the same Instagram account.
Yeah. I think I was asking him questions about his kids and all that kind of stuff. And, Bryce is not old enough to have kids yet. So
he's like, what's going on? Oh man. All right. So 132, just, I'll screen share here. Oh man, where did my Zoom go? Okay. I'm going to screen share real quick. We'll go through the quarter final matchups that we'll be seeing a couple weeks from now. But we got Tanner Gerber of Cameron taking on Tanner Anderson of Melman GET. That is quite a battle of the Tanners there. We got Troy Dolphin taking on Owen Sefrud. Another good matchup. Rhett Koenig versus Kellen Oury, and Chandler Curtis versus Wyatt Du Chateau. Which brings us to the 138-pound brackets. Two brackets left here, folks. Thanks for tuning in with us, by the way. Steve, I don't know about you. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I was, there's a little bit of nervousness the first time we go through something, but then now that we're here, I'm loving this. Loving the participation from everyone too. But just a quick look at what we got going on. 138 pounds. We'll talk about the first matchup, and then we'll continue on. We'll get Steve and I back on the screen. Well, we got Prince Grayson Clark of Kakwana taking on Caleb Sonnentag of Cadott. And I just wrote Grayson Clark for this one. I mean, dude's coming off his third state title. But yeah, I'm taking Grayson Clark.
I always like to have my call my shots and huge upsets, but this isn't time to do that.
No, that's no, you save that for another day.
Yeah, you save that for another one. I was impressed. Was it at the Cheesehead where Clark won in the finals? Was it 1-0, Teague? Over that, I don't remember the names, but
Clark beat Chase DeBlair of Simley.
Yeah, that was one of the most exciting 1-0 matches I've ever seen, because it was like, I mean, I've never seen a guy control a match like that before. I was impressed. I think there was a specific game plan. I don't know the thinking behind it. There was a specific game plan of how to win that match, and he executed it very well.
Hey Matt, now that we have you on here, we need the social media reinforcements. If you want to share our stuff on Facebook and Twitter here real quick, that'd be your, Chase DeBlair. I think he's a 2-time state champ from Simley. Matt Verbaden, by the way, I don't think he could not share our stuff for a year, and I still think he'd have the most all-time social media support for us.
You can also tell when Matt hasn't followed us for a while, because then we'll wake up in the morning and there's like 92 different likes through all of our Instagram posts.
It's one of my favorite things to wake up to. Oh, perfect. Got the thumbs up there. Next one up here, Balin, if you're still on, man, I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to be happy with what I have to say on this one, but no, we got Tristan Stelt of Fenimore and Aiden Hart of Winneconne, and a couple of solid young guys. Stelt placed third in Division 3, Hart placed third in Division 2. And Steve, again, kind of cut from the same cloth. They have a similar resume. I think a couple more matches of Hart, especially at Team State, which I guess in this universe, Team State wouldn't exist yet. But he had a really good match against Nathan Ronsman of Luxembourg Casco, Max Ronsman of Luxembourg Casco. And I don't know, I'd give the edge to Hart here.
Yeah, it's more for me. It's more of a feeling. But yeah, I just went with Aiden Hart. I think more just, dare I say, more battle tested. I guess I was looking through his people that he beat, and I just thought he had tougher overall wins.
it just hurts me a little bit to pick against Fenimore at this point. based on all the team stuff, but here we go. Next up, little Cooley region battle of I should have told Corey Scanlon about this more ahead of time.
Oh yeah, text him real quick. I'll pick on Matt because Tom's jumping all over Matt on the comments. He's right. He said Matt gets up when most of us are going to bed. That's true. Matt gets up to go to work like at 2:30 a.m. It's crazy.
That's very fair.
Yeah, I sometimes feel bad because I'm kind of a night owl and I'm thinking about it going, maybe I'll go to bed around 2:15. Maybe I'm watching a movie or something, or just kind of chilling out, and kind of my head's hitting the pillow and I'm like, yeah, Matt's about ready to get up to start his day and I'm just ending my day. That makes you feel bad sometimes. It makes you feel like you're you start evaluating your life's worth when things like that happen.
I was going to say with Corey, though, he'd probably have a good in on this one. We got Evan Wolf.
Were you able to text him when I was doing my little diatribe there?
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm so sorry.
Shoot. That's why I was doing that.
That was so well played by you. I'll tell him. I'll ask him about it after.
I literally was filling airtime so you could text Corey and you missed your opportunity.
I was getting into it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I even used the word diatribe. I hope I used it right.
Give me like a baseball coach sign with your hat next time. Like tuck, like, hey.
I was going off on my monologue. That would have been better than a diatribe.
A diatribe, I think by definition is a little more aggressive, but no, you did. It was, yeah, I'd say it was more monologue.
I thought it was like poem. I thought it was like a haiku or something like that.
Next match up here, Tyler Yan of Holman and Evan Wolf of West Salem Bangor.
I think sometimes you have no idea what to say, so you're just like, I'm going on, man. I don't know what the heck he's talking about.
No, I know what a haiku. It's 575. I gotta keep the show rolling.
Okay, quit screwing around. Let's go.
Tyler Yan of Holman placed 4th in Division 1. Evan Wolf of West Salem Bangor placed here's the runner-up in Division 2, losing to Ronsman. And guys that are probably live like 20 miles away from each other, and I'm guessing they've wrestled each other hundreds of times at Lacrosse Area Wrestling Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, Jan's one of those guys. You look at his resume and you see all the close matches against really tough kids, and he went off at state, ended up placing 4th. And I just seeing Wolf too, I think I would have to give Wolf the advantage on paper. Jan is able to keep himself in any match, but I'm giving the edge to Wolf here.
Wolf, I was looking through his results. He had some questionable losses earlier in the year. He lost to Kurt Wall from PDC. And then Kurt Wall wasn't even on the varsity lineup at the end of the year, right? So it's like, man, where did this loss come from? But I think Wolf just puts his best out there when the lights are the brightest. So I'm definitely going with Wolf.
Okay. And then next match, so we got Wolf moving on. Got the 4-13 matchup here. I think Ben Cowles' dad commented on this on Facebook. This is one heck of a bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Even here, I mean, Talon Shoot of Germantown, who was the Talon Shooty, wasn't that an old classmate of yours?
Well, Craig Shooty was it. So everybody, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Obviously, there's regional dialect. I went to high school with a guy who's a grade older than me. His name was Craig, and it's spelled exactly the same way, and it was pronounced Shooty. So I'm saying Shooty. I don't know. I wasn't listening at state to see the exact pronunciation or not.
And he was the runner. Hey, we'll figure it. Someone will correct us at some point. It always happens.
Absolutely.
He's taking on Ben Cowles of Menomonie Falls, who placed 5th in Division 1. And I think I picked Shooty Shooty beat Cowles 10-5 this year. Shooty beat Blaskowski as well. And I think Blaskowski's a beast. So I'm going with Shooty. We both got Shooty moving on to round 2. Okay. Next matchup, Gavin Drexler of Stratford, 3-time state champ, Dominic Lines of Clear Lake. He's the 4th. He placed 5th in Division 3. I don't know if I put their result down for state, but I know I picked Gavin Drexler to win this one.
Teague, if there's ever a bracket where I just want to skip to the finals and get to the Drexler Clark matchup that we know is going to happen, let's just get there, right? Because I think it's going to be awesome. So obviously, if we're going to get a Drexler Clark finals, there's got to be a Drexler round 1 victory.
There's got to be a few victims in the way. Yeah. And Dominic Lyons is there and is right in line there. Next thing up, we have Stone Pomeroy of Random Lake, who is the 11th seed, Taryn Riley of Mineral Point, who's the 6th seed, runner up in Division 3 versus 4th place in Division 3. Common opponent here. Riley majored Tristan Stelz, who did beat Pomeroy in the quarters, and I think that result for me is enough to swing it. So I picked Taryn Riley to move on.
Yep, same reasoning.
This was it's fun seeing. Oh, sorry, you go first, Steve.
I was gonna say I think we share a brain sometimes, but that's bad news for you.
I like seeing some of these quadrants because it was just random brackets, but 4 Division 3 guys in that one.
Oh,
yeah,
scrapping it out.
Little quadrant. This next one, man, I mean, talk about 2 guys that we've brought up on the show a lot. Hoyt Blaskowski of Marshfield and Tatum Nichols, Luck Frederick, Grantsburg, Siren. Nichols placed 4th in Division 2, came into state undefeated. Blaskowski placed 3rd in Division 1. The common opponent here, Blaskowski pinned Wolf, which again, Wolf did split matches with Nichols at sectionals and state. And again, you don't always know the context with pins. And also we saw Blaskowski at Bi-State, Steve. I think Bi-State might've been Blaskowski's best tournament of the year.
That was my reason.
And that's not an insult. He wrestled. No. He just wrestled out of his mind at Bi-State.
Yeah. Listen to this resume. Just at Bi-State beat Blake Heel, Evan Wolf, Max Ronsman, and then Tanner Anderson. That's right there. That would be a year for a lot of people. Great. Like, man, I beat all these kids. He beat them at one tournament.
I ended up going with Blaskowski and what I think would be a pretty fun match. Oh yeah. You also took Blaskowski.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought I already gave my pick. I think I jumped ahead of you and picked before you, which breaks protocol. I apologize for that, but
no, we're good. Hey, we're learning on the fly. We got next matchup here, we got Max Ronsman of Luxembourg Casco, state champion, and Ryan Tomajevic of Seymour. Steve, I forgot to say this on the individual state recap. Once I went through all my picks for individual state, the one mistake I knew I made, and I don't know where I would have made the pick, I knew I was going to regret not picking a Luxembourg guy to win state because it's happening at some weight class.
Yeah.
This year, I just didn't know which one it was, and it ended up being Ronsman.
Sure.
But Ronsman beat Tomajevic 7-2 at state. Funny enough, they were in the same sectional, but did not wrestle at sectionals. But yeah. I feel confident taking Ronsman here. Ronsman.
Yeah. Did you mention their head-to-head? I saw it on there earlier in the year. I don't remember where it was, but
they wrestled earlier in the year too.
Yeah, he beat him 7-2 somewhere. I forgot. I didn't write it down, but
I thought it was at state that he beat him 7-2.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was at state. Yeah, you're probably right.
He beat him 7-2 twice.
That could have been. Yeah, I'm going with Ronsman, and maybe Matt. That's a good trivia question. Maybe Matt can fill us in on that one. When's the last time Luxembourg Casco did not have a state champion in a particular year?
Oh yeah, that's going back. I couldn't even think of it right now.
Oh,
yeah, Matt, that's a you thing. Ronsman is silky. Yeah, no, he very much is.
Teague, you'd like this. Once upon a time, they used to make state mugs. They make the coach association will give you a state mug, and it had all the state champions from a year on it. And Matt would have them all lined up in his house and things like that. And I'd grab one randomly off the wall, and I'd say, "All right, Matt, who was the D2 140-pound state champ from 19, whatever. I can't remember the year. I just pick a random year, and Matt would just, his little Rolodex would go, oh, that would be Jim Smith from Partyville. And it was pretty cool.
Maybe we should have a little trivia off between me and Matt.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh, that would be a cool thing. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll store that in the memory banks for later. All right, real quick quarterfinals, state mugs. Oh man, I need to start getting state mugs.
I don't think they make them anymore.
Oh, quarterfinals for 138, Grayson Clark versus Aiden Hart, Evan Wolf of West Salem Bangor versus Talon Schutte of Germantown, Gavin Drexler of Stratford versus Taryn Riley of Mineral Point, and Hoyt Blaskowski of Marshfield versus Max Ronsman of Luxembourg Casco. Which brings us last weight class of the night here, Steve. 145 pounds. And starting off with the 116, we'll go back to mine and Steve's faces here. Carson Casper versus Royce Nilo of Milton. First of all, we got to meet, both these guys' dads. We've had Kevin Casper on the show.
Yeah.
We got to meet Royce Nilo's dad at State, and great dudes,
that was fun.
both of them. Yeah.
It was awesome.
And I don't know. This is, again, another 116 match that I would really like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a solid match. Nilo he had a really solid resume, and his matches, he was a matchup nightmare for D1 finalist Cody Gable this year. Just the matches that he gave him were crazy. But you look at Carson Casper and you look at the fact that he beat Cale Erickson, who was just an absolute tank this year. That's a win in itself that, for me, I feel comfortable picking Casper. And what I think this could be like a 3 or 4 point match for sure. But
did you look through Casper's resume? And this has obviously got to be a misprint, but I was looking through and I saw that Carson Casper has had 2 losses at the Bayport JV Middle School Invite. Says he got lost 11-4 and got pinned. So I was looking at that going, what the heck?
There must be another Carson Casper out there.
Yeah, I was looking through there going, what the heck? No way is that possible. Obviously a misprint, but yeah, I'm going with Casper as well.
Well, I might need to rethink my pick if that. No.
What's he doing at a JV Middle School Invite, first of all?
Next one up here, we got the 8-9 matchup. Also, Nilo, scary 16 seed on the backside.
Yep.
Tate Flagey of Aquinas, Nick Alexander of Wrightstown. Flagey plays 3rd in Division 3, Alexander 3rd in Division 2. This was a tough one. I know Alexander, did you say he beat Pinky?
Yeah. Can I give my reasoning here first?
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you got first go here.
So this is a tough one, right? I mean, Flagey and Alexander, I think would be a great match. I think Alexander was, he lost in OT in the semifinals. I think if he wins that one, he's clear cut. I shouldn't say clear cut, but I think he's favored to win in the finals. But here's my reasoning, right? Whether call me crazy, I've been called worse. He wrestled Pinky, who I feel, if Pinky and Flagey wrestled, I'm just based off of watching, I think Pinky beats Flagey, but Alexander only lost 5-3, right? And I think I think he moved up at that particular duel. Alexander wrestles 45, wrestled Pinky up at 52, only lost 5-3, probably a good match. I didn't see it live. Just for that reasoning, I'm going with Vaughn.
I also went with Alexander. I just, when it comes to Aquinas guys, if you get them on the mat, it's fair game for Aquinas dudes. So I'd give the edge to Alexander. I think he need to get some advantage on his feet for sure. Next one up here, Cody Gable versus Parker Cradaville. Gable he was a runner up in Division 1. Cradaville placed 4th in Division 1. They both lost to Jacob Ward, and see, we talked about that D1 145 bracket just in length, man. This is one of those matchups that, I don't know, it could have easily been the finals match as well.
Yep.
I think I'd have to give the edge to Gable. Just the way he wrestled kind of reminded me a little bit of Brett Bach, and I know Cradaville had a little trouble against Bach this year, and I'd give the edge to Gable.
Oof. Yeah.
Which it hurts me to say a little bit. As a Holman guy, it hurts me to say.
It sure does. I got nothing. I watched Gable wrestle. I want to say 3 times this year. Once was against Nilo from Milton, and it was like I've never seen a guy in tough situations just. I don't know how to say it other than wrestle tough. It seemed like every situation he knew how to respond. He was able to keep things close and pull them out at the end, and just a strong wrestler. So I'm going to go with Gable as well. Although it does hurt to say that because I think Parker is I don't get to watch him wrestle as much. I did get to see him at Bi-State, but talk about a guy that's just tough on top and can wrestle in every situation. So this will be a great match.
Yeah. And then next up, we have a top match of the last half of the bracket. We have Cale Erickson, Cedar Grove, Belgium, runner-up in D3. Griffin Marco of St. Croix Falls, who placed 5th in Division 3. Erickson beat Marco 9-1 at state. I mean, we talked about Erickson a lot here the last 2 years. I feel comfortable just picking Cale Erickson to move on.
Agreed. Yep.
Let me write that down on my master. Oh yeah, for those of you listening, we'll get the master brackets out. I think maybe next week or in a few days. We'll try to get those updated 106 through 145 brackets out. All right, next matchup here.
4 matches to go.
Yeah, Jacob Ward of Bayport taking on Luke Kramer of Prairie du Chien. Prairie du Chien, man, they just had one heck of a postseason. But Ward state champ in Division 1. Kramer 5th place in Division 2. And I never liked to count a Prairie du Chien guy out of the match, but you look at Ward, Steve, and it just seemed like he got better and better as the year went along, which was scary. I think he had a lot of hype coming into the year, and maybe a little too much hype in terms of people were just expecting a lot out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of the year, he was delivering the hype that people were expecting. And you can't pick against Jacob Ward in the first round for sure.
I started picking him at state last year. I've been on the Ward train for a long time, and I'm not getting off now. So I'm going with Jacob Ward.
Next one up here, we have we got our boy Tanner Halapka taking on Nathan Vandehei of Freedom. So Vandehei was the runner up at state in Division 2. Halapka, that would make him he finished 4th at 145. They did wrestle. They wrestled in the semis, Steve.
Yep.
And Vandehei won 5-4. And again, we're splitting hairs here, but just you look at I think Vandehei's resume throughout the course of the year is a little bit stronger. And I think if I see like a few more quality wins from Halapka, granted, he just won a lot in general. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a matter of scheduling too. But I could maybe give the edge to Halapka in a rematch, but I just can't. I can't logically. I'm giving it to Vandehei in a potential rematch.
Yeah, well, you could say common opponents is that Vandehei, I think earlier in the year or in his career, has beat Alexander from Wrightstown, and then Alexander did beat Halapka for 3rd. So there's a common opponent there. So, and you got the head-to-head, but I'm going to go with Vandehei.
And we got Brett Bach of Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln versus Tyler Sunday of Clear Lake. Bach ended up finishing 3rd in D1 at 145. Sunday finished Sunday would have finished 4th in a Division 3. And see, Tyler Sunday, this is one thing I'm kind of glad, like one reason I'm glad I did this. Tyler Sunday is not a guy I really noticed a lot of. But then I look at his stuff on track. I'm like, how did I not notice this guy at some point earlier? He had a really good year. And I mean, maybe this might be a little bias on my part, just seeing him wrestle a few times and just knowing him. But again, how do you go against Brett Bach in round 1? He's a tough dude, and he's just he does not back down from a challenge. But no, I just want to give a shout out to Tyler Sunday though. I'm going with Brett Bach, but Tyler Sunday, he had a good year, man.
He did. Yeah. You like those guys that fly underneath the radar.
Do you also, are you going with Bach as well?
Oh yeah. I guess yeah.
We're good. Hey, we're hitting that last match fatigue.
I wouldn't pick against him just because once again, he's another guy that I'm afraid of.
No, very true.
I don't want to meet that guy in the alley. And Matt did confirm that, yes, Vandehei did beat Alexander at Cheesehead.
Oh,
at the Cheeseheads.
Nice. Thank you.
So he beat him more than once at the Cheeseheads.
Last match here, folks. We got Brett Skaug of Beast. Finished 5th in Division 1, taking on 2 seed Caleb Menier of Winneconne. State champ. Is Menier? That was his 3rd state title.
Yes.
Yeah, picked up his 3rd state title as a senior, and we talked about D2 145 a lot. Menier's going to get challenged a lot. I think that's just going to be the nature of this 145 bracket. I don't necessarily think it would be this round. I mean, I think his signature win this year, if you take out the postseason, if you watch his match against Carson Casper at On the Water and how good he looked in that match, that really puts into perspective the type of wrestler he is.
Yeah, that's what you took my notes. Carson Casper is a beast, and Menier pinned him. So that's my, if we need to have a reason for that one, that's my reason for it.
All right, last man, I talked about the 132 quarterfinals or 113. I mean, listen to this, Steve. Carson Casper versus Nick Alexander, Coleman versus Wrightstown, Cody Gable of McGuanago versus Cale Erickson of Cedar Grove, Belgium, Jacob Ward of Bayport versus Luke Kramer of Prairie, or versus Nathan Vandehei of Freedom. And then Brett Bach of Wisconsin Rapids versus Caleb Menier of Winneconne.
Nice. Love it.
Unreal. That's what we got for the quarterfinals. But folks, so I'll try to get those updated brackets out ASAP, whatever ASAP means. We'll get it out there at some point. But thanks for tuning in. I think
hey, can you promote our podcast we just put out? I think that was a good one.
Yeah, no, really good call. Oh, we should have been doing that throughout. We'll learn. We'll learn about this marketing thing. But yeah, we just put out a podcast with Brian and Strand coach Shane Kennelly. He talks about his life story, and I guess the best word for it is it's kind of raw. He's very real and genuine in it, and I love the life story that he gave. And I talked about how wrestling kind of saved him a little bit, and talked about his coaching career. Then we talked about junior colleges, which I found really informative. Steve, I learned a lot about junior colleges from that.
Agreed. And a lot of options for wrestlers that maybe don't want to take that, 4-year college route, or maybe
if they don't want to take it right away, or
right away, or man, do I want to see if I can kind of dip my toes at the next level? And I think you got a great opportunity to do that.
So a podcast with Shane Kennelly out. You can find that on iTunes. It's on the Wisconsin Wrestling website as well. Pretty much anywhere. If you want to listen to a podcast, we will be on that podcast directory. Listen to that one. For those of you still on, thanks for tuning in. Next time we do this, we'll try to post a little more ahead of time when this is coming out. But no, in the meantime, this was fun. Let's try to get more people in on this. Try to get a conversation going. But
get some more smack talk going.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we really want. We want the smack talk.
I like Tom ripping on Matt. That's kind of fun.
That was we need more of that. We need more of that as these weeks go on. 152 through 152 through heavyweight first round next week. But until then, we will catch you on the flip side.